Welcome back to the channel, it's Andy and we're back in the Mad Scientist FM's database because I've taken the 1998-99 database and I've simulated it to present day. So we have gone 25 years in the future back from 98 to present day. So we have rewritten the past 25 years of football in history and we have a completely different timeline. So let's jump in and let's have a look at it, shall we? If you do want to access the 98-99 database for yourself, it is available. The link is in the description. Thank you as always to the Mad Scientist for putting so much time into these databases. All his links are in the description as well. Twitter, or the social medias, Patreon, where if you do want access to future databases early, all you have to do is donate a minimum of $1 a month and you can get databases for yourself. Not only that, but we have also got a extra regen mod, which was made by Warringtini. So what that means is that players that did not exist back in 1998, like your Lionel Messi's, your Cristiano Ronaldo's, your Kylian Mbappe's, they actually get added into the game once they become of age. So they have been added over the past 25 years and are in the database. As you can see, Mbappe, top scorer in the Premier League for Everton. Those players also get added into the game. So it's the first time we've actually managed to do this with the Mad Scientist database. Otherwise, this team would just be full of regens. And this database would be full of regens 25 years later. So there's also links down below to Warringtini's socials and how you can get that regen mod for yourself as well. And of course, as always, if you're enjoying the videos over here, drop a like, subscribe, leave comments, all that stuff really helps the channel. So if you're enjoying the videos on the channel, subscribe and, let us know you're enjoying it. So we're on the page of the Premier League. We're going to go through the league tables and have a look at the various winners over the past 25 years. So we'll have a look at clubs. And then we'll have a look at like international football, see how the World Cups and the European Championships have been doing. And then we'll have a look at some like individual players that we haven't quite maybe gotten to yet. So that's kind of what we're thinking for this. First of all, I did actually miscount and I've actually gone a year extra. So we're actually in 2024 because, yeah, I miscounted. Because of the limitations of Football Manager, you can't actually change the date on the calendar. So even though it says it's 2048, it's actually 2024. But we're on the page of the Premier League and Leeds United have just won the Premier League title. 98-99 season, they did qualify for the Champions League. And of course, Leeds in the late 90s and the early noughties were one of the best sides in the country and did get through to the latter stages of European competition, so a good side. Manchester United, Chelsea and Liverpool round out the top four. Southampton also playing in the UEFA Champions League, maybe by virtual win in the Europa League, we will see. Arsenal and Nottingham Forest also qualifying for the UEFA Cup, which is of course the predecessor of the Europa League. Wolverhampton, Norwich and Derby County relegated to Division 1 or the Championship as we now know it. Man City not in Europe, Tottenham in the bottom half of the table, Sheffield Wednesday and Middlesbrough in the Premier League as well. Bolton Wanderers getting into the top half still and they're still around the Premier League. Wimbledon of course no longer exist and they're in 8th place, just missing out on Europe because Wimbledon fell out of existence in the early 2000s. MK Dons came to be and then AFC Wimbledon was created kind of as a Phoenix club. So that timeline doesn't happen. Wimbledon still remain. No such thing as MK Dons. No AFC Wimbledon. Again, completely different timeline. But let's have a look at the past winners and see who has been winning all of the championships then. So go back to 98, it was Arsenal, of course, current holders. Manchester United did win the 99 Premier League, and of course that was the year they won that unprecedented treble under Alex Ferguson with the Champions League and the FA Cup in tow as well. Man United did win all but one of the next 6 Premier Leagues, Arsenal winning in 2001 that would have been. Liverpool did manage to win a title, that was in 2005. So Liverpool did manage to win a Premier League. I think it's the only one they won. It is indeed. That's, good that they won one, but unfortunate that there was the only one. Then Man United won again. Chelsea, of course, Roman Abramovich's takeover hadn't happened in 98. That was still a few years away. But Chelsea did win 3 titles in a row in 06, 07 and 08 before Man United won in 09. Arsenal then won in 2010 and in 2013. With Chelsea getting 2 in between them. Then Man United won 2, then Chelsea won 2, then Man United won 2. And then 3 of the past 4 have been won by Leeds United, their first titles since 91-92, the last First Division season before the Premier League came to be. So Leeds United strong in these past few years. And looking at some of the runners-up, Southampton getting runners-up in 2022, that would be, I believe. And it looks like they might have won the Europa League recently as well. Who else have we got here? Everton runners up the year after that, so that would have been 2023, where I intended this to be simulated to. Let's have a quick look at the first division, or the championship as we now know it. The playoff final is yet to be played, but that is between Stoke and Fulham. Coventry and Sunderland promoted to the Premier League. Birmingham, Leicester rounding out the top 6. Grimsby Town in the first division. Of course, they're quite a long way down now. Same with sides like Barnsley and I guess Crewe. Notts County, of course, they were a sort of former side that were in the Premier League and they got relegated. Start of the simulation, they were in the 3rd division, Notts County. They got promoted, then went down, and then got promoted, and then got promoted again. So they are in the 1st division. They haven't been in the top flight since 91-92, that final edition of the 1st division before it came to the Premier League. So a side like Man City, who started the simulation down in the 3rd tier in the old 2nd division, have of course risen up the ranks, and they were a yo-yo side for a few years, but they've been an established Premier League side for over a decade. And you can see what I mean by some of the players that, you know, come through. Jordan Vertu is the captain, Hazard is the vice captain, and Erling Haaland is at Man City as their key player, 23 years of age, extremely good. And he did actually make his way to Man City, and quite recently as well, an £80 million move from Southampton. So he starts off, he joined a side called Bryne in Norway. He moved to Leeds United for just £54,000. Spent a season there, did quite well. 4 goals, and again he was very young. Moved to Southampton for 22 million, got 37 goals in 2 seasons before that big move to Man City, and yeah, he's been doing very well for City in these past couple of seasons. But you can see, you know, who some of the very best players in the Premier League are. The top scorer, Kylian Mbappe, for an Everton side that finished mid-table, 29 goals in that season. He just starts at Monaco, of course, and he moved for £32 million back in 2020, and these players, as you can see, are just extremely good. Mbappe at 25 is fantastic. Firmino at Leeds, of course we know him as a Liverpool man. He joined Espanyol from Brazil, moved to Porto for 15 million, and then moved to Leeds United for £40 million. And he's been very consistent for Leeds in the past 5 seasons, at least 13 league goals, so he's been doing very well. Firmino. Neymar at Manchester United. On the left hand side, he's very good. Look at him. So he joined from Santos in how do you do the maths? Is it you've got to take off 24? So what would that be? 2011. He joined Man United, and he's been very good for them. Achraf Hakimi at Southampton. Raheem Sterling at Leeds United. Another left winger. Of course, he is a youngster that came through at Liverpool. He joined Bordeaux and moved to Leeds for £65 million. I mean, Leeds seem to be very good. And, you know, let's have a look at their side, shall we? Let's see exactly what they're about. Donnarumma is in goal. We know him, of course, very talented goalkeeper. So that front three, they've got Raheem Sterling on the left. They're playing a 4-4-2, interestingly. But the top two, Sergio Moreno and Curtis Jones playing as a striker. That is the Curtis Jones from Liverpool, yeah. Theo Hernandez, Luis Suarez on the bench. 37-year-old Luis Suarez. Comes through the Uruguayan at Nacional. He went to Leverkusen and then joined Leeds, and has been at Leeds United for a good 15 years at this point. Azpilicueta is at Leeds, Eden Hazard's at Leeds, Jack Wilshere is at Leeds United, and of course in real life he is now, I believe, retired. Of course came through as an Arsenal graduate, went to Man City, then to Southampton, and he's joined Leeds as well. So Leeds have a very good squad. You know, they're the champions, and you can kind of see why. I do, just out of interest, want to have a look at my team. Look at Liverpool. They have their captain Trent Alexander-Arnold, who has remained at Liverpool. Did have a loan spell at Fulham, but otherwise has stayed with the Reds. And they also have Kurt Zuma and Ben Gibson in their backline. Ben Gibson on loan from Real Madrid. Interesting. David Brooks playing for them. I think he's Welsh in real life, or at least plays for Wales. Looks like he's elected to play for England. Gareth Bale playing at Liverpool on the left wing, 34 years old. He's of course just retired in real life. Moved from Southampton for £70 million back in, what's that, 2013? Corentin Tolisso playing for Liverpool. Fabio Vieira, who is at Arsenal. Leighton Clarkson's a current Liverpool youngster. Oscar, the Brazilian. Luke Shaw at Liverpool. This is a very different universe. The Man United left back playing for Liverpool. I just had a look at the records. Chelsea got 101 points one season. That's the most points we've ever seen. Also, Crystal Palace got 6 points. How did they do 28-29? I want to look at that season. Crystal Palace scored 6 points in the season. They won 1 game, they drew 3, and they lost 34 games, conceding 88 goals. That is one of the worst displays I think you'll ever see on FM in any season. That's just laughable. 6 points. Many other records have stayed the same. Let's have a look at the award winners. Let's have a look at the Golden Boot winners and see who some of the top scorers are. So there you can see Mbappe at Everton, Suarez, Lewandowski at Arsenal, the Polish striker. There's Wayne Rooney at Chelsea, still playing as well, still going. Of course, he's a manager at the moment, but he's been at Chelsea for a long time. There's Anelka at Arsenal. He's now retired. Michael Owen at Liverpool. Owen retired and did not become a coach and stayed at Liverpool his entire career as well. That I love to see, because I think his career was doomed from the moment he joined Newcastle United in 05. I think from then on Owen was doomed. He was always quite injury prone as well, but glad to see that he stayed at Liverpool. And also 422 goals in 703 appearances. That is an unbelievable stat. We've got John Carew at Newcastle getting the Golden Boot. There's Anelka again, Robbie Fowler, Dion Dublin early on in the simulation, Bergkamp at Arsenal as well, getting some Golden Boots. Let's look at the Golden Gloves, look at some goalkeepers. You've got Neuer at Man United, David De Gea at Chelsea, Keylor Navas at Leeds, Reina did actually end up at Liverpool. There's Edison. There's Oliver Kahn at Man United as well. Oliver Kahn makes his way to the Premier League. But that's enough of the Premier League, I think. Let's go to another nation. Let's go to France and Liga, and let's see who's been winning over there. Now, Lens were the holders at the very start, and they did get second place and third place a little bit, but no other titles. Monaco have won quite a few. PSG have won quite a few. I think takeovers like PSG, and I think their finances, I think they're hard-coded. So things like PSG and Man City and their money, not really anything I think you can do about it. So that's a bit unfortunate, but, you know, that's how it is. Marseille did win a few titles as well. Bordeaux getting runners-up a few times. And then we've got Bordeaux there again. There's Lens, there's Lyon. So, you know, the usual suspects. PSG and Monaco, the main offenders there. Let's have a look at the player stats. We've got Danny Olmo at Bordeaux, high average rating there. Christian Eriksen at Bordeaux, 32 years old. And he spent a long time at Ajax, actually, and then moved to Bordeaux in, what's that, like 20... I think that's 2018, moved to Bordeaux. Morata at PSG as well, so there's a quick look at Liga. Into the Bundesliga, Bayern winning the current title by 20 points, and Bayern have won the last 6, so they've been very dominant. Kaiserslautern were the winners in 98, a big one there, and they did actually win another Bundesliga title in 2004. Stuttgart won 1, but Bayern and Dortmund have won all the others. Dortmund have only won 3 themselves, so Bayern have been very dominant in Germany. There's Yusufa Moukoko at Bayern. Of course, he came through at Borussia Dortmund, and he made that move to Bayern like a lot of players have done over the past, you know, however long. Players like Lewandowski and Götze also making that move from Dortmund to Bayern. There's Timo Werner at Borussia Dortmund, of course, played for RB Leipzig. Do Leipzig come into existence? Because they're a very new side, aren't they? Yeah, Leipzig are in the game, but they're not assigned to a league. So Leipzig in this simulation doesn't exist. That is really interesting. I like that. Leroy Sané and Rafinha also at Bayern. Adama Traore. Let's go over to Italy and Serie A. Let's see who's been winning there. Roma, the current champions in Italy, winning 13 points over Juve. Parma still, you know, very much in the top 6. Of course, in real life, they had serious financial issues and ended up down in like the 4th tier in Italy. Looks like they've very much stayed. Yes, they've very much been competitive in Italy and look like they've won a few titles as well. Rome have been very much on top in the past 5 years, but Parma have won 6 titles. 6 titles. So there you go, Mad Scientist. Your team has actually managed to win some Serie A titles. They've actually been doing really well. So there you go. Let's have a look at some guys in Italy. Then Mauro Icardi playing at AC Milan. There's Ousmane Dembele, William Carvalho, Isco, Heung-min Son at Juventus. Alisson still at Roma, where he played a lot of the time. Eventually gets to Roma. Starts out in Brazil. He spends 5 years at Man United, goes to Sheffield United, goes to Bari in Italy, and then moved to Roma for £20 million in 2018, which is when he actually joined Liverpool from Roma in real life. So Bernardo Silva's down there as well at Lazio, Courtois at Milan. Into La Liga, and Real Madrid, current champions in La Liga. Let's have a look at this then. Real Betis, that's a surprise. Winners in 2021. Also Valencia getting a couple more. They did win in 2004, but other than them, and 1 or 2 for Atletico, I think, it's been very much Real Madrid and Barcelona. But Real Madrid have completely dominated Spain. Barcelona have only won once in 25 years. That's a big shock. Let's look at the Barcelona side. I saw Ter Stegen in there, Calvert-Lewin playing up top. There's Sisto, Eder Militao, Axel Witsel, Verratti, Joan Mario. Let's look at the Real Madrid side. Of course, 98, it was pre-Galacticos, but they have a 4-4-2 formation. Varane at Real Madrid, he spent a lot of time there, of course. He's moved to Man United in the past couple of years. We've got Koulibaly, we've got Bakayoko, Hamsik, Bellerin, Alexis Sanchez, Rafael Leao. As a couple of players that I'm not seeing, and they might have retired, but let's have a look for Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo and see what happened to them. So Lionel Messi is actually still playing for Chelsea. I didn't actually have a full look at the Chelsea squad, but he is playing for Chelsea in a front three alongside Christian Pulisic and Antoine Griezmann, with De Bruyne and Pogba playing behind them. How's that for a front five? Messi has been a Chelsea player since 2010. And actually went to Everton for 2.5 seasons as well, leaving Barcelona. So made his way to the Premier League and has been in the Premier League for a good, almost 20 years. What about Cristiano Ronaldo? Where did Cristiano Ronaldo end up? This is him. He retired at 37, spent 5 years at Sporting, moved to Borussia Dortmund, only spent 3 seasons there. And then at Liverpool for 16 years, 120 goals for Liverpool. So there you go. There's probably hundreds, maybe thousands of players that were added in, that are regens in the simulation, but of course players that currently exist. But there's just a smattering of them right there. We can have a quick look at Scotland and see who's been winning over in Scotland. The champions are Rangers, romp into a victory over Celtic. And they've been very dominant over the past decade. Celtic have won, they did win 5 of the first 6, but Rangers have very much dominated. Hibs with some second places, Kilmarnock as well. And in third place we've got Dundee United there, we've got Hearts, we've got St Mirren. Anyone that I recognise in Scotland? Jovetic, centre forward from Bosnia, I want to say? No, Montenegro, I was close. They're not far apart. Kasper Schmeichel at Rangers as well, so a few players there you might recognise. So let's have a look at some European competitions and the Champions League winners. I'm seeing a lot of Manchester United in there. Real Madrid winning a couple recently as well. Bordeaux winning the Champions League in 2021, a Bordeaux-Milan final. Leeds United won the Champions League. Parma won the Champions League. There you go, scientist. Again, Parma with those big trophies. A Parma AC Milan, an all-Italian final in the Champions League. How about that? If we drop down to the UEFA Cup, which we now know as the Europa League, Barcelona, the most recent winners of that. Wimbledon winning the UEFA Cup. So they're very much still going strong. There's Southampton, Inter Milan, Everton, Marseille, Newcastle, Wolves winning the UEFA Cup as well. Zaragoza, Kaiserslautern. Really good, range of teams here, really good variety of teams. And then we go down to the Cup Winners' Cup, the sort of old tertiary competition. Of course, now we have the Europa Conference League. Werder Bremen, the most recent winners of that. Wimbledon with the runners-up. There's Man City, Schalke, Lazio, Celtic, Bologna, Blackburn, Sociedad, Osijek of Croatia. That's out of left field. Osijek. Galatasaray runners-up as well. Bolton Wanderers runners-up, AIK of Sweden. We're going to check out the World Cup and the Euros now, because it's hard-coded in the game. The World Cups are in Qatar and the USA and what have you, and so on and so forth. So it's not the World Cups that they would be. So the 2002 World Cup, of course, was in Korea and Japan. So, the World Cups don't exactly match up. But we're going to at least have a look at, who the best teams in the world are during the simulation. So we've got France, Argentina, Netherlands, France, Germany, Spain, and Brazil winning World Cups. The usual suspects there. Netherlands winning their first World Cup's nice though, I like that. And then runners-up, Romania, most recent runners-up in the World Cup. That is quite nice to see. Romania doing so well. So no massive surprises with the World Cup. Romania getting runners-up is a surprise, but that's about it. Let's go to the European Championship and have a look at that. Go to the past winners. We have Portugal, we have Germany, Scotland and England both winning European titles. An England-Ireland final. How about that? Also England get runners-up. France back-to-back winners recently, though. But an England-Ireland Euro final, that's amazing. And Scotland winning one as well. That's quite cool. Let's have a look at the England squad. Who is the manager of England? Alain Perrin, a French manager. Where does he start out? Starts out as manager of Troyes. He's currently without a job, but his most recent managerial job from 2018 to 2019 was at Nancy in France. But he's been manager in... He was a former China manager, Al Harafa, Qatar, and then in the North he's managed Saint-Etienne and Lyon Sochaux, so managed a lot of teams in France. He was Portsmouth manager for a while, apparently. He was manager of Portsmouth in 2005 for about 6 months. I don't remember that. It must have been just before Redknapp or just after Redknapp. But the England team, looking for some notable players. There's Alexander-Arnold and Fikayo Tomori in the back line. There's Mason Greenwood. We will brush past that very quickly. Declan Rice, Lewis Cook, Sterling. Erling Haaland's playing for England. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. I guess, yeah. He's played in England for long enough. If he never got capped for Norway, he could have... he declared for England because he was born... Yeah, he was born in Leeds. Of course he was. Erling Haaland's playing for England. And he's got 19 goals in 37 caps. I love that. I need to put Haaland in an England shirt for the thumbnail. That is so cool. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Haaland in an England shirt. That's amazing. I mean, Harry Kane's also in the England squad. Harry Kane is currently playing for Inter Milan. He came through Spurs. He's played for Middlesbrough and Man City and now plays for Inter Milan. I can't believe Haaland's playing for England. I think that's really cool. Okay, the last thing we're going to do before we end things off is we are going to have a look at the Ballon d'Or winners, have a look at the very best players in the world. So let's have a look at this. And the most recent Ballon d'Or winner was Neymar at Manchester United. Sterling finishing third. And then Messi won a Ballon d'Or playing for Chelsea. Gareth Bale in the run in there for Liverpool. There's Sterling. Rooney winning ahead of Griezmann. Then Messi won 4 in a row. Lewandowski and Rooney there. There's Kaká at Leeds United. There's Zlatan at Real Madrid. Go back to Kaká winning 2 more there with Messi. Saviola. Oh, that's a blast from the past. Saviola is brilliant. Nicolas Anelka winning it for Arsenal ahead of Rubinho at Chelsea. There's Owen. There's Seedorf playing for Real Madrid. Seedorf still going in 2011, that is. Yeah. Ronaldinho won it for Man United. Del Piero winning it there. There's Totti at Chelsea. This I love to see as well. Looking at some old players and where they ended up. Like there's Shearer at Real Madrid. That's really cool stuff as well. Rivaldo at Barcelona. Simão, Batistuta at Fiorentina. He was a fantastic player for Argentina. Morientes at Milan. Bierhoff. Zidane there as well for Juventus. So it's good to see some of those old players ended up as well. I think that's really, really cool. We're going to end things for today, but I'm going to keep the save file. So if there's anything in particular you might want to see that I didn't bring up, then leave it in the comments, and if I can find it, then I'll let you know sort of what happens, maybe with your team or with a specific player. Leave them in the comments and I will do my best to dig that up for you. But that's going to do it for today. As always, thank you very much for the Mad Scientist for putting so much time and effort into these databases, because I always look forward to them every year. And if you want to get it for yourself, the link is in the description, and it doesn't cost anything. Early access you can get for a minimum of $1 on Patreon, but it is free for everyone if they want to download it for themselves. And you can have a look at yourself, and you can do the same thing as me and simulate to present day, and you might get something very different. So if you've done this, let me know what you found. Let me know what happened in your timeline. Let me know what happened with you. And that is going to do it for today. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, leave comments, subscribe if you haven't, or if you're new, turn notifications on. And yeah, we'll leave it there for today. I've really enjoyed doing this. These are some of my favorite videos to make. So, hopefully there'll be more of these in the future. Not just with throwback databases, but maybe with old games as well. Coming up, I've got a 10-year simulation of FM13. So we'll see what happens with that very soon. But that's going to do it for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.